A very good morning to all my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you are doing good. Today is 20th October 2020. Day is Tuesday. I would like to start today's discussion with this quote by Franklin D. Roosevelt. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Fear, particularly this imaginary fear, most of our fears, 99% of our fears are created by our weak side or weak mind. And 99% of them never ever takes place into our real world. They are imaginary, right? And they are like, they are nothing. They are like just fears. They are just like weeds coming out from our or generated by our weak mind. So what we need to do is we need to identify them, that these are the fears. Whenever you are afraid of something, just ask this question, that this fear that I am thinking about or the thing that is going on in my mind at present, is it a real thing or it is just a product of negative way of thinking? This is going to be your first step, because once you identify something, then you can know the real nature of that thing. Once you know the real nature of that thing, then you can work on it. And when you work on it, you will get rid of it or you will improve it. So if it is a good thing, improve it. If it is a bad thing, get rid of it. Simple as that. And this will unlock your potential. With this, dear friends, StudyIQ team has designed a smart course. This smart course is for Civil Services Examination. At present, a Navratri sale is going on all our smart courses. To find out more about Navratri sale, to find out more about our smart courses, all you have to do is download our mobile application. Use this Navratri 5 code, and this offer is valid till 26th October only, so make the most out of it. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, share this lecture with other students, and hit the like button. So dear friends, on our table we have 4 important articles. The first one is Dormant but waiting to strike. This one is about Al-Qaeda. This one is about Taliban, Lashkar-e-Taiba, or this Jaish-e-Mohammed, or there are other terrorist organizations in different parts of the world. You find some of them in Southeast Asia, like Philippines and other countries are, Al-Qaeda is also there. And then you have in Somalia, in Nigeria, they have different names, different terrorist organizations. Some of them are like regional, some of them are domestic, right? So for example, you have this Boko Haram that is very famous in fact infamous in Nigeria. And you have Al-Shabaab and other organizations. Anyway, names are not important. Most important thing is they all are working with each other. Countries, they are not working with each other. They don't have this, like, for example, when it comes to terrorism, China's behavior is a bit different, right? China is a country that believes in good and bad terrorism. So this is a weakness for all those parties who are fighting against terrorist organizations, and they know that these countries will not work together. They have cracks between them. They have their own agendas and things like that. But terrorist organizations, we have seen that Al-Qaeda helping Boko Haram directly, indirectly, ISIS many times they have competition with each other, but they have one big agenda, and sometimes it is observed that they work or support each other. Anyway, at present, during this phase of pandemic, we have seen, and this is a good thing, that there has been a drop in the numbers of terrorist attacks in different parts of the world, particularly in India and our neighborhood. So the question is, are they over, right? Has this pandemic destroyed them and they are over forever? The answer is no. The reason is that terrorist organizations, they work on ideology. Right, so the main pillar of any terrorist organization is its thought process, right? It's thinking, it's belief, it's ideology. So you need to get rid of that thought if you want to destroy them, right? Killing or hunting down a terrorist, that's a physical thing. But more and more will come, because it is not just that physical terrorist. It is this terrorism. Terrorism is an ideology. You have to fight against that ideology. If that terrorism is, or this ideology is, the root of this whole organization or organizations. So at present, yes, they have faced some temporary loss of support, but that does not mean that they are eliminated. They are not active at present, but their threat is as big as it used to be. They continue to pose threats to modern society, especially in India and its neighborhood. And their numbers may not be formidable, but they can cause a ripple effect that cannot be underestimated. Early on, they used to be, in today's world, in modern warfare, they use this psychological warfare as well. Psychological impact is believed to be a very important thing. So if you kill a person using just choking his throat, that may not look that dangerous. Of course it is a murder. Of course this is an act of terrorism if a terrorist is killing people by choking them, right? I'm just giving you one rough example. So that may, of course that is bad, but it does not look that bad. You know what I mean? Like if you see someone, right, if someone's body that is, if you see someone is beheaded, then that visuals will stay in our head for a very long period of time. Even if someone tells you that this organization has beheaded this many people, then just this word or this small piece of information will create bad visuals in our mind. So it will create more fear. You see? So not killing that many people, but killing them in such a way that will generate fear that will last for a very long period of time. This is the depth with which these organizations are working with. And terrorist cells are probably engaged in quiet process of garnering resources for future lethal assaults. There is one film called Holiday. Akshay Kumar is the main hero in that film, and I think there is a South Indian version that was the original one, Tupakki. Vijay is the main hero in that film. So in these films, right, you have this concept of sleeper cell. Sleeper cells, or sleeper cell is a terrorist who is not active at present. He is living with us in a society, but he is an agent who is sleepy, who is in a sort of sleep mode at present. And whenever he or she will receive an instruction to do something, he or she will get active, and they will conduct this the terrorist act. There is a change in pattern as well. I would like to discuss this a bit further with you guys. This is not covered in this article, but very important information. See, earlier on, they used to attack in big groups, right? Very big groups. It looks like a big riot, or if we talk about, if you see the area of, not area, but in the past, if you see the history of Kashmir, then you will know this thing that these terrorists, they used to come in big groups. Then we saw this neo teams, like in 2611 or 911, neo teams were used. The latest trend is of lone wolf. L-O-N-E, lone wolf, right? Lone wolf means one individual who is brainwashed on social networking site, and it does not need any weapons or anything. He will use his car or van, and we have seen this thing in various different cities in Europe, that this sort of lone wolves, right, they will use their cars, and they will ram this car in public place, and they will kill people by crushing them using their cars or hitting them with their cars, and then they will come out of it and use a simple knife to injure as many people as possible. So this sort of things, this lone wolf is very dangerous. You never know who is a lone wolf, and it's very difficult to identify this lone wolf. If you have a big team, then chances are that you will get information from someone. But a person or a leader, a brainwasher, who is sitting in different part of the world. He will use this social networking site or something, connect with a person living in any city around the world, and that's how that's how they are working. So they are using this technology. And few days ago, I remember Prime Minister Modi was talking about artificial intelligence, and he said that we have to make sure that artificial intelligence, this technology, it should not come in the hands, or it should not fall in the hands of non-state actors. Just imagine that at present they are using this lone wolf. In future, God forbid, but terrorist organizations, they can use artificial intelligence. They can use a car, they can hack a car, and they can just use that car to kill as many people as possible. I'm just giving you one rough example. So we have to make sure, we have to plan for it from today itself. So this is the whole pattern. So far we are here. We don't want to see this stage at all. Moving on to the same topic a little bit further in next area, right? Poverty. Poverty is also believed to be a fertile ground. So many terrorist organizations, they offer a huge amount of money, and a poor person, I'm not saying every poor person will fall, but it's two-way. On one side they will brainwash this person, and on the other side they will promise that we'll give this much money to your family. So this is something that is very dangerous again. When it comes to USA and Taliban, on 29th February 2020, they signed this Doha Accord, and as per this accord, Taliban will keep the Al-Qaeda under check, but this looks like a deception, and I'm sure USA is also aware about this thing, that just one accord will not stop this collaboration between Taliban and Al-Qaeda. And Pakistan is a country that can control Taliban and Al-Qaeda both. They report to Pakistan's deep state, that is ISI, as well as its army. So this is going to be a problem for because USA is going to be less active when it comes to Taliban. So this can give a free hand to Pakistan to do whatever it fails to do, or however it wants to disturb India. Many recent raids by NIA point to an Al-Qaeda network in India. Remember a few weeks ago, there was this news that few guys from Kerala and few from West Bengal were arrested, and it was found that they have this Al-Qaeda link. The Al-Qaeda has a robust cadre from which a strong and young leader could still emerge to lead it in order to intimidate the civilized world. Many people believe that because this old leaders, right, elderly leaders, in recent past, so many of them are hunted down. So there are experts, they believe that there is a leadership vacuum, but we should not underestimate these organizations. They have some young leaders, they can take charge of all the affairs, and of course we need to be vigilant, and we need to keep working on both levels, physical as well as ideological level, to end this menace. Moving on to the next item, a tool for thought. Now, Department of Science and Technology, it has appointed a committee of experts, which has mathematicians as well as infectious disease experts. Now, the finding of this committee, or they have used a mathematical model, and their forecast is that India has already passed its COVID-19 peak in September. So that is a good news. And we can see there is a decline in the numbers. Earlier on, we used to get 1 lakh cases per day. But at present, it is somewhere around 60,000 cases per day. So which is not bad at all. But that does not mean that we need to lower our guard. That does not mean that we can take this thing lightly. Not at all. Right? If we do that thing, then that will be a very big mistake, right? Because we can see a second wave, third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave of COVID-19, right? And keep on destroying us. So we need to maintain social distancing. We need to control ourselves when it comes to going out in public places. Wearing a mask is important. Washing your hands, hygiene standards, all these things we need to do as we used to do, or as we are doing now. The numbers are decreasing. That is a good thing. And this is a mathematical model, remember. So here you can see that experts associated with the pandemic have reiterated many times that mathematical modeling ought not to be taken literally. It is just for our guidance. It is just like a sort of, a path guider. But we cannot totally rely on it. Things can change anytime. Right? Active cases about 7.5 lakh now are expected to drop below 50,000 by December, and by February the pandemic is likely to extinguish itself. Only minimal, not zero, but it's going to be maybe less than 1,000 active case, which is not bad at all. Of course, we all are happy to see these figures, and we would like to see zero infection. Of course, we like to see a vaccine or a medicine for COVID-19, no doubt. But there are so many lessons that we have learned so far. And there are so many things that we need to do after COVID-19 as well. Post-COVID-19 world, we have to be vigilant about this sort of zoonotic diseases. We have to pump up our R&D in terms of zoonotic diseases, right? There are so many of them. We don't know so many things about so many this sort of viruses, and we have to take our ecosystem seriously, because all these things, right, this whole SARS, and in last 2 decades you see 4 or 5 this sort of pandemics, zoonotic diseases, and the main reason is there are so many species, right, they are gone forever because of this human-led climate change. The expert committee's calculation also shows that the peak means if we would have delayed this lockdown, then we would have achieved our peak in July, which is very bad, and the numbers could be 6 to 15 times more than what we have registered so far. So it's a good thing, but that does not mean that we use this mathematical model to analyze things, or the things that we have done like lockdown is bad or good. That's a different thing. There are good things, there are bad things about lockdown. Now you'll say that then this is not a conclusion, but it's not necessary that all the time you have to be, or with every topic you should have a sort of one particular view. The reality is that COVID-19 was new for our country, for the world. So if I put you in the same place, right, as a government of India, then you will take the same decision that you cannot risk it. Just imagine if you don't follow, if you don't allow lockdown, then how much damage, how many people will die, and this will destroy the whole system. You cannot allow that. The second thing is, yes, lockdown was important, but there are a few things that we can discuss now, that we could have reduced the number of days of lockdown, number of weeks of lockdown. We should have planned well ahead, for supporting those migrants, and there are so many other people, isn't it? So, yeah. So there are a few negatives, few positives about what we have done so far, but all these things are going to be, we should take it as a learning curve. We should not repeat the mistakes of the past, and we should keep the best practices with us so that we can use it in future. Many gains in fighting HIV. I still remember this advert. It's a very old advert. I was a small kid, maybe 10, 11, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, I remember this visuals. This advert used to come in Doordarshan and other channels as well, of course. And it was about the main leading cast was Shabana Azmi, very famous Indian actress. So Shabana Azmi, in a hospital setup, she used to hug a girl, a teenager girl infected with AIDS, HIV AIDS, right? So at that point of time, I still remember the whole campaign. Means now when I look back and so far what I have studied about HIV and how it used to be, people were so afraid of HIV. They used to think that if you touch someone, then as well you get infected with HIV. So many bad or fake news or misinformation was doing rounds at that point of time. And the whole campaign was to inform people that HIV/AIDS is not something that spreads by just touching the person who is infected with HIV. But people used to treat HIV patients with, they used to say bad things about them, because even today sex is a taboo topic in our society. So at that point of time, it was too much. I mean, like taboo was like very much, So they used to see people from, always one angle, that they are like, if a lady is infected with HIV/AIDS, then they will call her a prostitute or things like that. They used to use a very bad word for the lady. And if man gets it, then they used to use the same sort of words for the man. And kids, right, without their fault, there are so many. There used to be so many unfortunate kids. They used to get it from their parents, right? A new toddler, a newborn baby gets AIDS from the mother. So it was basically, what I'm trying to tell you in a nutshell is that today we are afraid of COVID-19, or a few weeks or a few months ago, this big fear of COVID-19 was there. I can say that AIDS was also, seen as bad as COVID-19 some 20 years ago, or maybe 10, 15 years ago. The newly released 2019 HIV estimates by National AIDS Control Organization, NACO, that works under this Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, says that there is a drop, 66.1% drop in new infections among children, and 65.3% reduction in AIDS-related deaths in India over 9-year period. So we are talking about this period, 2010 to 2019. When it comes to pregnant women living with HIV, there used to be 31,000, now there are 20,000. So there has been a drastic drop in the number. Overall, antenatal coverage has expanded, and HIV testing has increased over time and within target range. Treatment coverage has also expanded, and under the leadership of NACO, faster tracking of EMTCT. EMTCT stands for Elimination of Mother-to-Child Transmission Strategy cum Action Plan, was outlined by June 2019 in the run-up towards December 2020, the deadline to achieve EMTCT. The plan entailed mobilization and reinforcement of all national, state and parties' collective efforts in a strategic manner with district-level focus and considering latest evidence, so that the states or union territories and the country as a whole achieve the EMTCT. Now, let me throw some light on this thing. I have read few paragraphs very quickly, isn't it? Now, of course, the most logical thing is, first of all, means if you can end this, if you can, eliminate this EMTCT, elimination of mother-to-child transmission, then at least you will save the child and his or her future. And for that, you have to reach to that niche area, to that particular area in which you find most number of cases. And that's what they did here. They used this data from various different sources. You can see here that Unicef, the approach being promoted by Unicef in focusing attention and resources in high burden districts. So what Unicef did, NACO and UNAIDS, they used to provide information about that particular area or village or region in which you find number of HIV cases. So something is going wrong over there, isn't it? So they used to come there, they used to get this data, and they used to focus all their energies. HIV services, technical support, everything is directed towards that particular region, that niche area, so that you can control it. And that's what they did. And so many things were used. Like, it's not just your technical team or doctors, right? Communication, awareness, education programs. Then when you're testing, like in our country, all pregnant women, right? Their HIV test is free of cost. So when you make it free, people will not resist it. Means there is nothing. Means they will not feel the financial burden. And the second thing is, programs like partner testing. So with pregnant women, you test her husband or boyfriend, whoever it is, right? So that you know that the partner is also negative, or if he is positive, then you can take actions from the very early stage. Counseling and care is provided, treatment and follow-ups. So all these things were done so that the stage where we are at present, we have seen a drop in the numbers, then that's a good thing. But so many things have been done, and we need to keep on doing this thing, of course. Using data-driven and decision-making approaches, we are certain that AIDS will no longer be a public health threat for children in India by the end of 2030, if not before. So hopefully, let's hope, fingers crossed, that we will achieve this target. Governance 101. This one is from Times of India. This one is about stubble burning. Stubble burning is still going on, right? We know that stubble burning is going on from last many decades, and the reason why it became a big topic is because of this drastic increase in pollution in Delhi. At present, satellite images indicate that there has been a threefold rise in Punjab farm fires from the same period last year, and highest number of farm fires in 4 years. At present, we can see at central level, Prakash Javadekar said a different thing, and CM Kejriwal is saying different things. So every year, every time we find this political blame game, the fire accounts for 17% of Delhi's air pollution. 17%. And the reason is that, see, this is how it works. The geography of the main load, how geography works behind it is, during this time of the year, northwesterly winds are blowing. So winds coming from this part, right? They are coming there. The wind direction is this. So you find bit of winter and things. So cold air, if you have this fires going on in this part, so of course the wind direction is northwesterly, so it is originating from northwestern part, so it will take with it this old smoke and everything, and it will cover your Delhi, and not just Delhi, the whole Indo-Gangetic plain. You will find that pollution level goes up, and you see how harmful this stubble burning is. 1 ton of stubble burning can release 2 kilo of SO2, 3 kilo of PM, particulate matter, 60 kilo of CO, 1,460 kilo of CO2, and 199 kilo of ash. Loss of valuable nutrients, right? 339 kilo nitrogen, 6 kilo phosphorus, 140 kilo potassium, and 11 kilo sulfur. So many microorganisms, they die because of this farm fires. They are like farmer friendly, but they die because of this farm fires, earthworms, and so many other insects, as well as bees and so many other tiny living creatures. They die. And waste burning continues in Delhi despite the air quality dip. It's not just this stubble burning. Waste burning, when it comes to solid management problem, it's going on. We know the latest Gurgaon, right? It is known as Millennium City. But do you know this fact that most of this Millennium City is supported by diesel generators? More pollution. And this green revolution was for our food security. We have achieved our food security, but the side effects of green revolution, we cannot ignore it, right? Government started this thing by, this subsidy, providing subsidized power. So nearly, you can say, free electricity. And then you buy a pump or give a pump, again with subsidy, electric pump or diesel pump. And this electricity free pump or subsidized pump gave access to groundwater. So farmers are using groundwater without, they are not applying their mind. They are using it, overusing it. They are like, because of this thing, we have seen drop in groundwater table in various different parts of our country. We feel like, okay, farmers are making money. They can get 2 crops or 3 crops. But this damages our environment. So first of all, we need to get rid of this sort of distorting incentives. And everyone should sit together and find out a solution for it. There are so many scientific solutions available for getting rid of stubble burning. But time management is the most important thing. If you don't help farmers on time, then they have no option as well. So it's not like I'm just blaming farmers here. Government is equally responsible. And this is a public issue. So everyone, all stakeholders should come together and find a solution for it. And strict implementation. We cannot allow these things. See, This pollution is destroying so many families. So many people will spend huge amount of money, their time, energy, their health. They will lose so many things in future because their health gets affected because of this polluted air. And that's basically everything from my side, dear friends. Thank you very much for your love and support, and thank you very much for sharing this lecture. And you can download the PDF. It's available on my Telegram channel. I'll see you soon. Till then, enjoy your studies. I'll see you soon with daily financial news analysis. Enjoy your studies. God bless you all. Jai Hind.